Good evening and welcome to Darkness over Dublin, or Darkness all around Dublin, or Dublin in a very, very dark place. We are once again at a quite uh, fine establishment, a 24-hour gym that is open for, well, only for members, but there seems to be no shortage of members. And yeah, tonight we once again have one of the people, well, the one person that seems to always work the night shift for some reason. Certain Emily, who is currently working hard at just making sure that everything is on the up and up. And, well, for people who would come here more regularly, they might see certain things that she, especially with one or two of the other people that work here, have a very good relationship. Or at least they seem to refer to her very much. But a girl at the reception is one of them. She seems to be very friendly with Emily, and Emily seems to be, well, acquainted, perhaps. But yeah, she Emily still keeps quite a lot to herself. She gets closer sometimes to the odd customer and things, and well, yeah, this is the place where she does sometimes feed. And tonight, you will have another visitor. Which visitor? Well, not necessarily a person she's met before, and we're about to find out what exactly will happen.
Yes, as Emily is being Emily, a young man with a large duffel bag over his shoulder walks in, with another gentleman a bit older than him doing the same.
As they enter, um, this woman with a very thick Irish accent that I will not do will just bid them welcome, and they can either pay or they can become members. But in order to, it's normally it's a bargain to be a member, but they're free to enter, and well, they pay the one time fee, but she's welcoming and just gives them the directions and I don't know where to go.
After they get in, Dora inquires to a She know they won't need to. There were inquiries if there's a sort of a large space for them to pull out some mats.
Yes. She will inform them that there are, well, kind of, well, the main or the most frequented place is the with all the machines and uh, what do you call them, treadmills and stair machines and all of that. But there are also quite a few rooms for gym classes. There's a spin class, with bikes. There's a couple for aerobics and, different things. So that can be accommodated without really any problems.
Um, they'll thank the lady. I'm not the receptionist.
That
Um,
is very much what she looks like. Well, she probably trains here a lot too, but she is definitely she seems that she's working the reception very much so.
okay. Well, yeah, they'll thank the receptionist, and they'll both head on down. Um,
Yeah, you get through the main hall, the main room. You will see a couple of people, and you will also see Emily, as she's probably working out at the moment. Um, there will probably be, as there normally is, a couple of dudes, maybe a girl or two, looking at her because she's um, quite taken in by her training, and she seems to be a strong person. That might, you know, grab an eye or two, but yeah, you will be. You can see the door to the well, one of the rooms for teens, yoga classes or gymnastics or something like that.
hmm. I'll the younger man will take a moment to kind of look around the room, just kind of seeing how many people there are here before clearing up a space and pulling out some mats that may be lying around. Um, chooses of what would make be a makeshift fencing stand arena.
There is a boxing ring. This is a fairly big place, so
It probably wouldn't work for this. It needs to be because the way fencing works is basically it's effectively a thin line. So
yeah, right, yeah, it is like a couple of meters one way and the other way, and then it's back and forth, not around. That's actually true.
so it'll just form up. But he won't make it too long. He just makes a smallish a small kind of thin fencing strip, and begins getting changed into his fencing gear along with his companion.
Hmm. Yeah. Emily will finish her set or her routine. But as soon as she begins to hear maybe someone rattling with, well, maybe not a saber literally, but
Oh, it
close.
is literally a saber.
Well, so there is actual saber rattling. Well, that's
There is
interesting.
literal saber rattling.
That is okay.
they have
When
they
she
have
actually
they
hears,
have yeah, it's they have all three in their duffel bag. If Emily deigns to take a look, they will notice there's the fencing gear. Um, there's the little There's the little electronic. I haven't got a name for it. It's the electronic equipment that they basically hook up to themselves, which is what you see used in professional fencing to detect whether their body has been hit.
All right.
And to see whether it would count. Because I think it's able to detect whether it actually if it would count in accordance with the rules for the most part. And you see them actually doing that, and they have both. They have all three weapons available to them as well, but they both pick the saber.
After a little, Emily is done. She'll come over. She will have a look. She's holding, one of these drinking jugs that are normal in the gyms where you have protein shake mixed with milk or whatever that most people drink. She has one of those with her. She just stands there as the two are beginning to maybe start up fencing.
Yeah, as Emily walks on over, the younger gentleman will say, "Oh, don't mind us, just getting a bit of practice in."
Well, don't you normally go to a fencing club for that sort of thing? I mean,
Well, a lot of the fencing clubs around town are weekly or monthly.
oh, okay.
Yeah, not
Sorry,
a
I
lot
didn't
of
mean
time
to.
to
I,
practice.
I
Oh,
didn't
it's
mean to
quite fine.
bother you. It's fine. You can do it. It's
What does Emily look like?
well,
Is she breathing? Pale? She
blush of health. She does have blush of health, so she does not look. She looks relatively normal,
okay.
human-like.
Humanish.
Just seems as though she's not completely comfortable. But hey, that's what that is. As a matter of fact, could you roll me? She's drinking from her thing. Um, and she will just say, "So, um, is it okay if I look look at the fight?"
Oh, sure. Help yourself.
No, I just want to see how. Uh, well, she points at the two of you. If it's okay, I just done my routine. It's
On the contrary, I appreciate the audience.
She smiles, and then she becomes very serious and just tries to hide the smile.
Mm. He puts on his helmet at that point. Well, old friend, shall we get started? Kind of talks to a friend who says, "Of course," and they do the traditional little fencing bow to each other. The little sweeping gesture, the traditional show of respect that you see uh, in a lot of fencing competitions. And they will begin to go at it. Um, you can make a perception melee roll to judge the aptitude that we'll just say for simplicity's sake the younger gentleman has.
That's not too good, actually. I think that's Oh, that could be worse. There.
The plain, pristine room of this gym, where there was initially only the sound of whirring exercise machinery, there is now the rather jarring back and forth sound of sabers clashing and muted huffing and gasping as they lunge and riposte at each other. Yeah. Get one success. Well, one of these individuals is clearly better than the other. Guess who the better individual is?
The old guy?
No.
How
Actually, it is how much dice does this character actually have? Ba, ba, ba. Okay, even with Emily somewhat swordsmanship isn't her forte, but she's maybe an amateur sort of enthusiast or viewer. She's seen her fair share of games, just being an athletic herself. Maybe even participated in a couple, but it's I mean it's quite clear that the younger gentleman is at least Olympian level. Like you would be expecting this level of conduct from someone on the Olympics. He pretty much smatters his competition, although they really do try. And they do hold out for a little bit. They hang in there for a little bit. But there is one dominant figure here. Oftentimes you're hearing the buzzing of the machinery that they're hooked up to going off within about a second of them actually engaging in combat.
It's not unnaturally fast, but it's fast.
Yeah, there is no active use of a power here, but it's very much stretching the boundaries of what is of humanly possible. Like this is as good as a person gets. This is as good as a human gets.
Okay.
Clearly this younger gentleman is possessed of some remarkable talent or skill.
Well, once they're done, depending on how long it takes.
It doesn't take him that long to win.
Emily will just clap a bit. I just say, "Wow, that you're like, are you like on the some team or I don't know, fencing team, something?" I mean,
Back in the day, but
she just looks at him a little bit curious because he does not look that old.
no, he looks about, if I may. He looks like he's in about his early to mid. No, he's in his mid-20s. He's definitely in his mid-20s. He's at least 25, maybe a little bit older.
When he says back in the day, that sounds. She just looks at it. You have a cute sight, but you do have prospects. Wanna roll me a perception alertness?
Perception alertness, perception awareness.
Alertness. Yeah, because it's direct senses.
I get 5 successes.
God damn it.
Even at standard diff, that would have been 5 successes.
Yeah. Two things. If she's been working out for a lot, she doesn't seem to sweat, which happens. I mean, depending on maybe she's low intensity, who knows. But what catches your attention more, the protein shake she's drinking. You catch a whiff of it. It does not smell like protein shake. It smells like, well, something you know very well.
Oh, it smells like that. Okay.
I mean, when you're this close, when she's talking to you, and she's still drinking from it. She seems to be through with it, but yeah, she just what she does is she just goes over and says, "You're really good. I mean, wow. I mean, I'd like to. I mean, people probably don't have a chance." She smiles awkwardly and just says, "Well, please enjoy it, and yeah, considering becoming members, and yeah." And then she just walks off. It comes across as, well, yeah, she just says that. It's a bit strange, but oh well. But yeah, you caught the clear sense or smell of blood.
Oh, of course. My apologies. I didn't catch your name.
She's pretty much a long way, but she just pops her head in and just, Emily. Nods and then seems to walk away.
Oh, she walked too.
She is walking. She seems to be walking to the front desk,
Okay.
and not too long after she returns, but she will walk into the main area of the gym and she'll begin to move some weights that people have left everywhere and not put in place. If it catches your attention, you will see that she lifts those weights like it's pretty much nothing. Like what? Like a 28 kilo weight in one hand. That, yeah, if you're really big, and she's strong, but you should still be able to see like it's a thing. But well, he seems to be very familiar with things that weigh a lot.
As if they were but paperweights.
Well, I mean, it's not like she's throwing them around. She does seem to be quite careful when she puts them down, but yeah, it doesn't seem to strain her very much.
He'll Francis will take 5. After the fight, he will feign a hint of tiredness. Leave his friend to her own devices, or probably purchase a Coke out of a drinks machine, out of a vending machine.
Yeah, Emily still works. She resets one of the machines, and at one point she will just look and she will see you watching her, and you're quite certain that there's a chance that she's supposed to be blushing because that's how she straightens her back and just looks at you and just looks awkwardly from side to side, just looks around and just looks at you, and then just walks off, just tries to have her back towards you.
I'll do a thing while you're looking away from him. Oh wow, he botches that roll. So he gets an erroneous reading. I don't know. There's actually, well, no.
What is it you're rolling?
I don't actually have a ruling on this, so I don't know if it would be a botch or not. Um,
What are you doing? Or
he's using aura perception.
she is definitely a werewolf.
Lol. I don't know because he has a cute sight and a cute senses.
Yeah, if it's
He'd still fail the roll at best.
he'd fail the roll, I think it's reduced by 2. Um, but yeah, I think normally is difficulty 6.
It's difficulty 8 standard. It's difficulty 8 normally, and then I guess my merit would bring down the diff, or either my acute
Well,
or my merit.
out of character in Odessa, we roll with it the Auspex rating.
Yeah,
Your
but
Auspex rating reduces difficulty.
I don't. This is V20, not Dark Ages, and it's not my rule set.
Oh, right.
Um,
Um,
so he cannot tell.
yeah, it's just, and you can't really get a viewing on her, really.
Yep. Oh, he'll blink a few times. It should be noted he has been exuding every bodily function you'd expect from a human, everything from breathing to blinking,
Hmm.
natural movement. Like he doesn't stand still. He doesn't fidget. Rather, he just has that sort of natural human movement that you'd expect from a living person rather than a corpse. He comes across as very, very human-like.
Hmm.
He's very natural in that regard. Yes, he'll take a moment. He'll probably go back to fencing for a bit. And then crush his competition once more. They'll probably change it up this time, probably go Viepe instead, rather than the Saber. The Saber's a bit heavier and they've already had a game on that. And he's not really here to just trash on this one guy. He's actually here to practice with his fellow.
Yeah, while you're fencing, you won't see her again. She seems to be keeping to herself at this point.
Okay.
But meanwhile, Emily will. Oh, she will actually just. She'll be on her computer for a while and just sitting in the back room and, you know, catch up on a couple of things. Actually, reading a lot. And yeah, she will be coming out, doing her rounds, and she will actually also give a couple of pointers to someone who asks about training. Once they're done and you come out again, she is currently helping 2 people, 2 men, with instruction in. Well, it looks like a personal training session, and she seems to be. She seems to be giving advice more than a trainer going and shouting at someone to give their 100. and just, pressuring them. That's not what's going on, but it seems to be more like giving pointers as to the best way of training and getting the most out of your training. That seems to be what you get.
Okay, he'll continue his practice, but other than that, won't diverge too much unless you'd like me. Unless you would permit me because he did get a very poor roll.
You can do that, sure. I will also say that you can tell that people like. Well, actually, I'll just see what you roll.
I'm gonna keep it at standard because I think I'm gonna keep it to 6 because I know one of these should impact my roll. I just don't know which one or if both do. Okay, there we go. He gets a very good reading this time.
She is a vampire.
Okay.
She's kindred. She is.
Tell me all your secrets.
She actually feels. Um. Hmm. She does. She is somewhat calm. I mean, because here, she seems to be. This seems to be like comfort. Comfort seems to be the main thing, as she's instructing these people. Comfort seems to be a great thing, but there is also nervousness, and I don't know if you could say that, like, of being shy is a thing that it's probably just nervousness.
Yeah, it's probably either or it's probably either orange or white.
Yeah, and there's also
Oh
quite
no,
a
it'd be
bit of
anxious. Auras appear scrambled like static or white noise.
yeah. So that's probably it. More so, it's probably more sort of like static. And there is also a hint of mm, uncertainty, or no, again, that would be nervousness. A lot of nervousness and a lot of alertness, like just
The aura is
focus
very,
on
very scrambled.
yeah. But no, but like it's you get the impression from her that she is constantly on the lookout. That's kind of what you're getting also in here.
It's a mixture of light blue and dark blue
Yeah.
that are kind of all scrambled and smushed together.
Hmm.
Okay.
And there are no black lines in her aura, and
I think I
uh,
need at least 3 successes for that. So yeah, that's good to know. That's always good to know.
and what else? I think that's it.
Okay. He takes a moment to kind of wait for you to do your thing with the other customers, people here, patrons.
Hmm. Yeah, it takes a while, but some time passes, and she's done, and she proceeds to do her normal duties.
He decides to wait things out a bit before going back to his kind of final round of fencing for the night. Before getting back off again. This time using the foil. and again winning in spectacular fashion.
She seems to be keeping busy.
Yeah, the erratic buzzing of the machinery is somewhat distracting as she does her duties. So after you can Francis takes off his helmet. Yeah, puts his weapon in his bag real quick, and he begins kind of casually walking up towards you.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that as you're approaching, she's just, you know, putting, for bench press, you have these round weights that you can put in on the pole. Some of those of 20 kilos, she's putting back in place. So her back is turned.
Oh, let me help you with that.
Well, oh no, it's fine. I got it.
That's quite alright. I just finished up.
Oh, thanks. But it's my, thanks.
No problem. If I may ask, I didn't see you at our gathering the other night.
What?
Via Elysia.
Her eyes go wide, and she just, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's
She's obviously, she knows what you're talking about. She's lying, but it's so very obvious. But he just stands there, and you get the sense, you get kind of the deer in the headlights, as you seems to have stunned her somehow.
it's quite. He kind of just says fairly quietly to her because he knows his camera's around. We'll just say, it's quite alright. I saw it in your aura. It's
Shh. What the hell are you doing? She's very suspicious now, just because. Look, do you want
He
to?
blinks once, and his smile, his rather kind of casual, sort of approachable smile, kind of fades a little bit into a sort of straight face.
Should we? I have a. I work here, so do you want to talk in a back room or something?
Wherever is most comfortable for you.
Well, she just nods once. Comfortable seems not to be a thing for her because, well, apparently she can't relax. She begins to head towards the back room and leads you in.
He takes his saber with him.
Um, hello. I was, I met, I met up. I've been there as I was supposed to. Right? She seems to ask whether or not she was supposed to be
Was
there.
she actually at the Elysium?
She has been sighted at the Elysium.
Okay. That
And
is
and
very
I
good. I must
asked,
have missed you. My apologies. I try to make it a habit of getting to know everybody I can within a given domain.
um, right,
Best when mistakes aren't made.
right.
You seem nervous. Please be at ease. I am Francis. Francis Beaumont.
Right.
He'll open up his hand to shake.
She puts her hand forward, and again, you can tell that she has a really firm handshake.
So, funnily enough, so does Francis.
Mm. But yeah, she just gives a very uh, a very awkward smile as she just says, it's nice to meet you. Is there is there a reason you're here?
Just exercise and to get myself back into shape after a short journey.
Okay.
I'm surprised this place had already been claimed by one of our own.
I've been here for some time. I've under the Baron.
The pause is really that long.
Oh yeah,
Baron or Prince? Choose
under the
that.
Baron. That is what she said.
Good.
Meaning that she has been. Well,
Important distinction there.
that's. Uh, Apparently he was suddenly the guy in charge, and so I was under him. I don't. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I. Yeah. I. I don't know who my sire is, or was, or whatever. So I kind of had to piece things together myself. And honestly, I'm probably broken 2 or 3 or 5 rules of etiquette. I'm really sorry, but I don't know most of them.
The fact that you have taken that into account and apologized says a lot about your character.
Thank you.
It is a step in the right direction.
Right.
So you're a native resident to Dublin, I take it?
No.
You're new? Apologies if this sounds rather condescending, but you sound quite young.
I am.
I assume you were embraced within the last few years.
Yeah, under 2 years. Oh, 2 years. Pretty much. Yeah, 2 years.
Hmm. And your sire has not approached you at all? Has not within those 2 years?
I don't know who that person was, so no. I mean, I'm assuming that if he was, or she would have approached me.
Do you know what clan you're from?
Gangrel.
His eyes kind of shift from side to side in consideration. Not really like suspicion, but more in consideration. They kind of lean off to the top left-hand side, and he kind of rests his cheek against the knuckles of his right hand. I suppose that is not exactly suspect for one of your clan.
You would probably know more about that than me, but
Your clan tend to leave their child there to figure things out for themselves before approaching them later. Usually within a year, I find. I am actually quite surprised it's been over that. But there could be extenuating circumstances in play. Is this place being granted you as your domain? If so, I apologize for stepping on your toes. I did not know.
No, the way it was explained to me is that if I wanted this place recognized by the people who live here and the people who've come recently, then I should ask the prince for things. So I went over and I went to the Elysium thing and I asked him, and well, I was also given a stepsire. I don't know, you know, a thing. I was,
Good.
and then I said it correctly. What I need to say about domain, and well, I don't know if I've been, I don't know if it how it works, but I've asked for it.
I can imagine it being quite challenging to acquire domain as an Anarch. Given that, as a point of principle, the Anarchs reject all but the first tradition, generally speaking.
Mm, right.
Perhaps if I were in your shoes, I might have taken pains to do more than simply demand something of the prince without offering something in return. Particularly,
I a minor boon or something. I gave him that in return, or promised him, or I don't really.
you appear inexperienced of the concept of prestation. Has your sire not, or your stepsire, I should say, not mentored you in this concept yet?
Well, he kind of, but I yeah, I got this the most of it. It's just it's a lot to take in, and there's honestly a lot of this scares the shit out of me, to be perfectly honest. So yeah,
That is no excuse for ignorance.
no, but she's about to say something, but she stops herself.
He kind of waits for her to speak, and we'll see if she decides to hold her tongue or not. His
Yeah,
face does
she
become quite
she does the
stern.
least smooth transition when she just says, "So, what's your clan?"
Toreador.
Oh, oh, okay, I see, I see. That makes sense. But
Does it?
you're you're quite beautiful. I mean, you're
Oh, well, thank you. I think so too myself.
she again just looks away and just that's not what I. It's apparently a thing with that you appreciate beauty and stuff. It's fine. It's I'm not judging anything. It's just it's fine.
I appreciate that you seem to have put in effort.
Um, thanks.
So, what is your standing? This is a rather. And he stops. This is a rather silly question, but I assume if you have a stepsire, you're considered no more than a neonate at best. Maybe a fledgling?
Well, I'm under the accounting, the accounting rule, or
A fledgling, then. But I'll. Do you have the do you have the name of your sire or your stepsire? Apologies.
the character does. The player has forgotten at this point, but you
Okay,
will
yeah.
receive it.
We assume Francis is told.
Hmm.
Well, then I'll get in touch with them to confirm your standing. You seem somewhat unclear on the matter yourself. I would urge you clear such confusion with your stepsire rather quickly. It could reflect poorly on them, which could then lead to negative consequences for yourself. Status and station is, as I'm sure you've likely noticed, quite significant to the citizens of the Camarilla.
Right.
And if you have a stepsire, I presume you wish to join our sect?
Um. Uh. Well. I don't. I honestly don't know. I've just been
Well,
trying not to.
it would be such a shame for you to make your way through the accounting and see it ruined with you immediately defecting to the Anarchs, but it is your choice, I suppose.
Defecting.
I suppose it depends on who you ask. Frankly, I wish the Anarchs could
Look,
come to a
I
decision on the matter. Some
honestly, I've just been trying to not eat people. Okay, like I've trying to not kill them when I
oh,
eat, and
thanks. I think you'll find that is quite trivial given a bit of time.
yeah, I've learned luckily, but that's like politics, divisions. I've got enough shit to worry about. Like I, I don't know, like all of this political crap. Don't, I don't think it's gonna. I, uh, I haven't really given it too much thought, honestly.
Well, I strongly encourage that you do.
You
I'm not
can
suggesting you
roll
become. Oh,
a perception alertness.
okay, does a key sight apply here?
Not really.
Yes, 2 successes.
I will roll my amazing dice because that is actually not totally true.
Oh yeah, you do. You got it.
Yeah, she seems to be somewhat. Yeah, she doesn't seem to have given it too much thought of where and what direction to go. It seems to not having a pile of dead people seems to be very much on her immediate conscience or mind.
Hmm. Francis will just say, "Well, I am not suggesting you should become political. Frankly, I don't consider myself particularly political at all. After all, the players rarely change in the game, so it gets rather tiring after a while, but it is important to know where you stand in relation to everybody else. And it is somewhat confusing to me that you are under the Baron, yet you have been given a stepsire and been held under the accounting. But these are things I can simply clear up with your stepsire. Do not worry, I shall not put you in a particularly negative light at all. My intention is not to bring you to any form of harm. Trust me, that
Thanks.
can and very much will happen if you do not learn the ins and outs of the Camarilla.
So, yeah, that's good. She seems to, as much as, yeah, she seems to be asking an open question, but
As I said, speak to your stepsire on the issue. They'll be able to tell you more. I could, but frankly, it is not the duty or responsibility I've been assigned. But if you wish to know of my standing within a sect that is quite pronounced, although unofficial,
okay.
I am a recent visitor to the domain of Dublin, although I am of some age. Several centuries, to put it into perspective. And from quite a prestigious lineage of my clan. Other things you may be inclined to ask your stepsire. Again, I do not wish to showboat, merely to inform you of who I am and where I am from.
Right. Okay. Well, it's good to know, and I know now. Thanks for letting me know. Look, I'm sorry. This is still very new for me for this sort of thing, and I'll get better. Don't worry. But it's just, uh, yeah. I'm not too good at this.
Pace your speaking. If there's one thing we have plenty of as kindred, it is time. And you can take plenty of it to consider what you wish to say. You, if you don't mind me saying, you appear to stutter a lot. It may harm your presentation before the prince.
Well, obviously, but honestly, I was doing this before I've been doing this since I was like 12 or 13.
Sorry about that. I was gone for a minute. Runs will simply say, well, again, I would encourage you to work on your presentation before others. Some may take offense.
Why?
Your speaking pattern causes you to appear meek and indecisive,
Right.
which those before you may take as a weakness. It is something that can be exploited. And I doubt the first thing you'd want would be to look a fool in front of a prince because the local harpy took advantage of your speaking issues.
I see.
Not that I would accuse the harpy of this domain as doing such. Frankly, he is quite pleasant. Quite pleasant
Oh,
indeed. He actually smiles.
sure. Yeah, he's really a good person. She looks away. She obviously doesn't mean so.
They're also quite obvious. You may want to work on that.
Right. So,
Imagine if I came to the harpy and said, "This is what Emily said to me. She said you were such a good person, but she seemed so suspicious of the fact."
well, right.
Afraid words are sharper than a gangrel's claws.
I get it. I get that joke. So, will you be needing anything else, or are you going to be leaving, or?
I might be here a little while longer.
Oh, okay.
Tell me, I'll have a word with your stepsire. If you wish to get your feet wet, I may have opportunities down the line that may aid you in accelerating your acceptance into the Camarilla.
Mm. I'm also helping him with some thing, some Zabat members.
I need to roll manipulation subterfuge.
I do too.
I'm going to roll perception empathy on that as well. This will be my subterfuge check.
I have one success.
And this will be my empathy rolls, my second roll. I have 3 successes on the empathy roll.
Right, and I will roll on you. You had 2 successes?
2 successes on the subterfuge.
Perception und Alertness.
That's empathy.
Oh, right. Perception, empathy.
Oh, Emily actually has dots in it. Okay.
4, but yeah.
Yeah. Something bothers him there.
Yeah, and Emily seems to... she's more familiar with what the Sabbat is than she's letting on or trying to give the impression of. It almost comes across as she says the Sabbat members, as it's almost in quotes, and she has no idea what that means, but she knows what it means.
Fascinating.
Well, we're gonna... apparently the prince wants my sire to kill a group of them, and I'm gonna help him out. And I'm still... you can see that she's... again, she stops herself. There's obviously things, one or more things that she does not want to talk about. She just kind of just closes her eyes and just shakes her head very, very little. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing that soon. But yeah, I've got your name and stuff, and I have work to do. So yeah.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Miss Emily.
And a pleasure to meet you too, Francis. Is it just Francis or Mr. Something or what?
Francis Beaumont, but you can just call me Francis.
Francis. Okay. Nice to see you too. And she kind of hurries out.
He will kind of offer his hand to shake of hers again.
She will take it.
He will shake her hand rather gently with both his hands. In a fairly affectionate fashion. Very delicate, very fragile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she seems to want to get away. Just this social interaction is just, yeah, no. She just wants to get away.
He's going to kill me with his words.
Yeah, she just seems to want distance. So she begins to just move away and just good, and then just not run, but she's obviously wants to keep busy with things in here, and that seems to be what she's doing now.
After that, Francis will return to his colleague for one last game to round out the night. He did consider ending making the prior game his last, but you know what? It's a good evening. He's in a good mood.
And with the last game going, I do believe that this is the moment that we will end our scene. Unless there's anything else.
No.
Thank you for... thank you, players, for playing, watchers for watching, fencers for fencing, and all of that. Hey, Chris!
Yeah?
You have the button.
What?
You have the button to stop the scene.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen.